guys, how you doing? I'm not out in the woods. I'm just car camping. Got a wooded area behind us, a trail, but I just stayed up in the main camp area. You know, I mainly do hammock camping, and like a lot of people, we just cannot get that good sleep. You know, there's every now and then you get delayed just right. Uh, you know, the stars are in alignment, whatever. There's other times you just toss and turn all night long, and it seems like no matter what you use for a mattress or a pad, whether it be a inflatable or a foam pad, they just slip, slide, you're pulling them up, they twist sideways. So tonight, well, actually I'm going to be out here for 2 nights, I'm going to try the Snugpak Underquilt. And it's not so much a review on the Snugpak, but I want to find out if that makes, having an underquilt, makes that much of a difference in sleeping in a hammock. And I know there's certain variables, you know, the hammock you're using, your setup, how you have it laid out, and of course the underquilt that you're using. So, as I said, it's not going to be a review on the underquilt itself, and I know there are variables, as I was saying, but I want to give it a shot and see if there's a different feel to it, if you know what I mean, if you get a better sleep. Because I've talked to other people and told them about my issues, and every one of them said you need to do an underquilt. So that's what I'm going to do for the next 2 nights. I'll let you know how it goes, and hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep. And being in a camp, I hope everybody else is quiet so I can't sleep. But anyway, I'll let you know in the morning how it goes. Alright guys, I had my first night in the Snugpak. I've moved locations from where I was at, and as I said, I was just car camping. When I got here, the camp was pretty full, so I had to pick an area that wasn't so good. I didn't have a lot of trees to set up my hammock and stuff. They were pretty close together. So when I woke up, everybody was gone. So I jumped over here. So again, I'm under some trees, so the lighting again is so-so. But anyway, my first night using an underquilt, and this is a Snugpak. They call it Underblanket, but you know, quilt blanket. Anyway, when I first put it on, it felt nice and toasty warm, but that was just before I shot the first part of this, you know, late afternoon. During the night, it wasn't bad at first, and then it seemed to get pretty cold. I kept finding cold spots, and I couldn't figure out why. First off, the hammock that I'm using is the Equip mosquito net hammock, and the cordage that comes with the Snugpak Underquilt, Underblanket, doesn't necessarily fit exactly right, so I had to kind of adjust it a little bit. And as I said, in the middle of the night, I woke up pretty cold. I was just using a wool blanket. It only got to about 44 degrees last night. I did switch out and get my sleeping bag and laid over the top of me. And while I was out there getting the sleeping bag, I adjusted the cordage a little bit. I was trying to find that balance between leaving that air gap so that you could have some air build up, you know, for insulation, and having it too tight against you, which defeats the purpose of having an underquilted blanket. You know, you might as well go back to a sleeping bag. But I found that I brought it up a little bit tighter to me, and I've moved the 2 inner straps a little tighter. There's 2 outer, 2 inner, and that seemed to work. Once I did that, yeah, I was warm. I mean, I slept like a baby. I'll take that back. When I fell asleep, car camping, a little bit of noise. There was a farm dog somewhere that was running loose that it had to be 3 hours that dog was barking. But I woke up, it was daylight, everybody was gone, I never heard anybody leave. I'm the guy that wakes up at 5 o'clock, 5:30, while everybody else is sound asleep because I cannot sleep in my hammock. So after I fell asleep, I slept pretty darn good. So, as I said, I moved locations. I again had to adjust a little bit. I tried a couple of different things. I tried to again get that gap between the underblanket and the hammock, but also not so far down that it isn't doing me any good. So this evening I will give it another shot, and in the morning before I go home, I'll let you know what the second night was like. Getting ready to call it an evening here. I'm going to get changed and try this out for a second night. Tomorrow I'll let you know what I think about the Underquilt, Underblanket, see if it really makes that much of a difference in getting a better night's sleep in a hammock. As you know, as I said at the beginning, I love hammock camping, but I find it's hard to get a good night's sleep using like an mattress or pad. Maybe I need to get to sleep. Tongue tied. Anyway, you know, it seems to twist and turn everything on you, so I'll see how this does. You know, it did pretty good last night after I did some modifications, you know, adjusted it a little bit. So let's see if the second night's any better now that I've learned a few tricks with it. Good night. Well, good morning, guys. How you doing? Second night, I'm using the Underquilt, or Underblanket as Snugpak calls it. And first, I hope you're seeing me okay. My camera quit last night, so I have my iPhone kind of perched on my tripod. A good gust of wind would knock it over. But, you know, I started this out saying I have trouble sleeping in a hammock, fighting the mattress pad and stuff like that, trying to stay warm. So I gave this a couple night test out here. Like I said, I'm just car camping. I didn't want to go to the woods and give it a try and then be too far away from my backup gear if I needed it. So I just tried it car camping. And so onto the question, does it really make a difference? Yes, it does. And now take that in mind. The Underquilt that I'm using and the weather. It got down to 40-ish last night, mid 40s maybe. And so I was fairly warm. I was in nothing but my long johns and a heavy pair of socks. And I used my sleeping bag as a blanket over me. What did I find the most helpful? I didn't seem to be fighting the mattress pad all night long. It wasn't twisting and turning. And as you know, with the mattress pad or inflatable, if it turns, you roll onto the hammock, you get those cold spots. I found here if you rolled, you would get a cold spot, but it would warm up within a short period of time. So that wasn't a problem. I don't seem to be quite as worn out, you know, from fighting the mattress pad. And I'm a side sleeper, so that was kind of nice that no matter how I rolled in there, I wasn't going, where's the mattress pad or the inflatable mattress? That made a big difference. Like I said, I like to sleep on my side, so if I rolled over, no big deal. I stayed warm. The one thing I will tell you that the Underquilt cannot do for you is if you have a bad hammock layout in the first place, it's not going to change that. So if you have trouble sleeping in a hammock because of your layout of your hammock, you know, head too high, too low on your feet, stretched too taut, too loose, the Underquilt or Underblanket isn't going to change that. You're still going to fight that. So you're going to have to learn to get the hang that you need. But using the Underquilt, I'll never go back to using a mattress pad again. It truly was one of the best nights. I hate using the term slept like a baby because I didn't last night because I am car camping, and for some reason the park was pretty active last night. People coming and going. But when I did sleep, I slept pretty good and stayed pretty warm. So guys, if you're thinking about giving up hammock camping and you're fighting that mattress pad and everything else, give yourself a chance with an Underquilt. I think you'll like it. And again, I do want to add that, remind you that the one I'm using is not probably for cold weather. So if you're going to use it cold weather, make sure you buy one that would stand the temperatures that you're taking it out to. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.